Welcome to Bama 3D Studio.
In this video, we will be printing and painting the character of Maleficent, using simple painting techniques that, with a little practice, anyone can do. Follow along, and I hope you enjoy the video, and the story of Maleficent. We're jumping right in here by finding the entire model in Vallejo primer, number 73602.
Maleficent has an interesting development as a character that has changed dramatically over several centuries. Our story starts with Charles Perrault in 1697. This French storyteller sat down and scribbled out a little tale called La Belle au Bois Dormant, or something like that, which translates to Sleeping Beauty.
I masked off the flames from the dragon's body using AK's black masking putty. It's a good product if, like me, you dread masking things off. Next, I apply a zenithal highlight using Vallejo white ink. The zenithal is a cheap, easy way to get a good idea where the highlights and shadows will go later on. I prefer inks for zenithal for a smooth effect.
In Perrault's version, no horns, no dragon, just a cranky old witch who shows up to a baby's party empty-handed, gets snubbed, and drops a curse like it's a punchline. Prick your finger on a spindle, die at 16. The end. No revenge arc, no wings, no green fire, just spite with a bedtime timer.
I'm spraying the clear wings with violet ink and fluorescent cold green from Vallejo, looking to create a smooth transition.
Then the brothers Grimm rolled in 100 years later and cut out the witch altogether. Same spindle, same finger, same doom, but no fairy villain, just fate. Like bad luck dressed as destiny. Fast forward to 1959, Disney cracked the book open, looked at that dustied hag and said, nope, let's give her style. They strapped on horns taller than the castle, ripped wings off her back, made her a fallen queen who loved once and paid for it. Stefan, the prince turned king, didn't just forget her, he betrayed her. Maleficent doesn't give the last laugh, she gets the last line.
To transition the color between the wings and the flames, I'm spraying a thin layer of Citadel Luxion Purple contrast paint.
The moral, well, that's the fun part. In Perrault's day, it was simple. Be polite, send invites, or fate will spindle your kid. Social etiquette wrapped in fairy dust. Manners matter, or bad luck knocks. Grimm sharpened it. Don't trust spinning wheels, life's dangerous, don't play with strange tools. No. Grimm's not really about tools, it's about the world being full of hidden traps, places you can't go. The spindle isn't just sharp, it's seductive. The real bite is curiosity without warning kills.
For Mel's skin tone, I'm starting off with Vallejo Pinkle. Pinkle was made popular by your dad. Some out there call it Warlord Purple, but we all really know it's Pinkle. Male has a very pale skin tone, so I thinly layer Vallejo light flesh over the Pinkle, being careful not to fully cover it. That way, the shades of color set by our zenithal and Pinkle will have an effect.
Disney's cartoon? Beware revenge. One snubbed fairy can end a kingdom, but underneath, true love wins. Mappa kiss, the light.
For the gown, I chose AK 3rd Gem Black, thinning it around 50-50 and applying to thin coats.
Villains fall when they're alone. The live-action movie flips it. Betrayal breaks you, but mercy heals you. Wings come back because forgiveness is stronger than curses.
For Mel's shoes, I'm using Citadel color Sirius Purple. Sirius Purple? Seriously, people? We're calling it Sirius Purple? Keeping with the theme, I very carefully paint ProAcryl dark plum on her two tiny males. Next, I'm tackling the dreaded eyes, lips, makeup, well, the whole face really. Starting with AK light flesh in the corners and across the lower eye and lid, followed with Vallejo charcoal for the upper half and along the top lid. Next, I'm painting in the whole eye with Vallejo off-white. Careful not to mix the parts we already painted. But if you do, don't worry. You can fix it with a little back and forth later on, which I almost always have to do. Give the eye some color with ProAcryl Royal Purple, making the main portion of the iris. Remember, the eyelids normally cut off some top and bottom portion of the iris. I'm bringing the eyes to life with Alien Purple, and adding in the pupil with Gloss Black, playing a little back and forth until the shape and size feel just right.
Maleficent started as a shadow in a French fairy tale, but Wolf gave her horns and wings, turned her curse into that iconic green flame. Over time, people even tried making her the hero, twisting the villain back into a mother protecting her own. It's like we've been trying to rewrite her part for generations, proving even the darkest characters to change if we want them bad enough.
Finish things off with a few specular highlights in AK Intense White. Now that the eyes are full of life, let's breathe some life into them lips of hers. I'm using the dark plum again, to match her nails.
It's an interesting story that's changed over hundreds of years, but I haven't even told you about the basilic version yet.
Then some well thinned out charcoal to brush in some faint eyebrows. Now, I don't know if she's the fairest in the land, but a little eyeshadow wouldn't hurt. So let's hit it with some very thinned out light flesh mixed with a little tiny dab of Alien Purple and charcoal. Very thin. Basically just glazing and shading it in for a hopefully realistic look.
Back in 1634, the guy named Basile wrote this dark little tale called Sun, Moon, and Talia. Same sleeping princess vibe, but no fairy godmother or cute woodman helpers. Instead, you get a king who takes advantage of her while she's out cold, twins showing up, and a jealous queen who orders the cook to serve the babies for dinner. Yeah, seriously grim stuff. Over time, we scrubbed it all its neat. But it's wild to think that's where our sweet Disney princess came from. So even though the seal's tale is brutal, you can spot the DNA of our familiar Sleeping Beauty right there in the mix.
With male done, I'm moving on to the base. Quickly I put a thin layer of charcoal over the zenithal, followed by some random spots of neutral gray.
There's this flax splinter curse that's basically the spindle prick we all know, just a lot meaner in the original.
Next, apply a thin coat of seraphim sepia.
And Talia giving birth while she's asleep, that's the seeds of Aurora's 100-year nap.
And for the vines, a wash of Athonian camel shade over the zenithal.
The big difference is how Perrault and Grimm swapped out the horror for magic and princesses. But at the heart of it all, the deep sleep, the helpless girl, the happy ending tacked on, it all echoes back to Basile.
Let's add some history to the bricks by applying a thick wash of Reichland flesh shade, then quickly dabbing it from the high spots before it has time to dry. I'll further weather the base with some dry pigments and add a little more character with AK moss texture. Brush the dark earth powder into the bricks and wipe the brick surface. Add some green and random cracks.
The jealous queen in Basile's story is basically the prototype for Maleficent, saying rage when she feels sidelined, saying willingness to hurt an innocent kid just to get what she wants. In the old version, she's a wife trying to wipe out the twins, and in Disney, she's cursing Aurora before she's even born. Different flavors of evil, but that core bitterness, it's the thread that ties them all together.
Now it's time we paint this big-ass dragon. I want a nice smooth transition between green and khaki for the belly scales, so I decided to wet blend Nurgling Green and Krieg Khaki over a base of Elysian Green.
Let's get into some of the darker corners Basile didn't shy away from. The king doesn't wake Talia with a kiss. No. Instead, he does the unthinkable while she's helpless. While she's still asleep, she has twins, and one of them accidentally pulls the flax splinter out, waking her.
And for this big-ass dragon, I decided to use a base of black green for the spines and horns and AK black purple for the dragon's skin. I want the dragon skin to have a bit more pop, so I dry brush it with alien purple and then highlight the edges with fluorescent violet.
Later, the king's real wife finds out and tries to have the babies cooked for dinner, and Talia thrown on a bonfire. Luckily, she fails, and the twins and Talia live happily ever after-ish, with the father in whom she grows to love. It's wrong, ugly stuff, the kind of twists that make you realize how much we've sanitized these old tales over the years. As for the dragon, she wasn't there, just a splinter and a curse. Same for Grimm and Perrault, they kept it human-sized, no scales or fire. But Disney gave us the roar, made her a monster we couldn't look away from. Sometimes stories need a spark to catch, sometimes they need fire.
For the ears, I use fluorescent violet over the base of black purple, glazing in the transition and highlighting the edges with alien purple. Brush on some of your dad's favorite deck tan for the eyes and teeth. Then massy them teeth up a bit with some Gut Ripper Flesh contrast paint from Citadel. For the dragon's eye, I applied Vallejo Succubus Flesh for the corners and lower lip, and charcoal for the upper eyelid. Paint in the main portion of the iris with Midnight Purple, then fill it in with ProAcryl Purple, leaving just a hint of a ring from the Midnight Purple still visible. Once dry, I sketch in the slit pupil in gloss black. Now we'll bring the eyes to life by sketching on lines of alien purple, followed by lining the slit pupil with auric armor gold.
Over hundreds of years, we went from Basile's tiny splinter that whispered a girl into a 100-year sleep, to Perrault's simple curse that kept the magic human, to the Grimm's brothers, who cut the witch away like a bad stitch. And then Disney brought the fire, turning a quiet villain into a dragon we couldn't ignore. It's funny how stories grow, isn't it? Like thorns wrapping around the truth. But in the end, they're still ours. Sweet, dark, silly, fierce. And maybe that's the real magic.
And now it's finally time to get this giant monstrosity done. So I'm finishing it by forcing some lighting where the flames would be shining green light onto its surroundings. The dragon's belly and Mel's gown and horns, as well as the bricks of the base. And with that done, we can finally assemble and glue it into place. I really wish I had more time to spend on filling and sanding, but due to the size of this model and my schedule, I had to keep things moving forward. I think she turned out pretty awesome. Please let me know what you think in the comments below.
So there you have it, from the oldest, darkest tale to the live-action movies we have today. It's wild how a princess can go from sleeping through her curse to being a canvas for these twisted little stories. But at the end of the day, it's all about turning something old into something new and sharing that spark with you. Thanks for joining me on this one. And if you liked it, hit the like and subscribe. Let's keep the magic flowing. Catch you in the next one.
And as always, thank you so very much for watching my video. I truly and deeply appreciate it. And until next time, don't forget to thin those paints well.